What's up guys, and welcome back to Empire Total War, where last week we actually did pretty well. I think we did a decent job. We had to fend off the French, who were trying their hardest to get back Paris after we took it a couple of weeks ago, and well, they failed. They failed pretty badly. We had to defend it in battle ourselves, and we still had a big hole in the wall, which I'm hoping after the next turn ends, that hole shouldn't be there anymore, but I'm not 100% on that. I don't think it should have been there in the first place, to be honest, given the walls are saying that they're not damaged in any way. But anyway, that is what it is, and hopefully the walls do repair themselves, because I think we will have to defend it again from... We've got some French rebels here, who, depending on how brazen they are, may attack us, might not. Not really sure what will happen there. But we do still have a French army up here, and another one over here, and there's other French down here as well, next to Turin. So yeah, we will probably have to defend it at some stage, and I'm hoping that the walls are fixed by that point. We also had a bit of a gain over here. We took Istanbul from the Ottomans, who we are now obviously at war with, and I'm not sure how that's going to go in the next few weeks. We'll hopefully get rid of them pretty quickly. I think Bosnia is not much of an issue, mainly because the Ottomans are at war with the Austrians, and given that they share basically 90%, 80% of their border with the Austrians, I don't think they're having the best of times over here. And they're also no longer sharing a border with Istanbul, so they can't get reinforcements to Bosnia from Istanbul. Like, they could have walked them along here and up this direction into Istanbul, but Bosnia is completely cut off from the rest of the Ottoman territory. I don't think it's long before Bosnia falls to the Austrians, but we will focus on going this direction. And I think Ankara will be our next target. I will hopefully try and secure that this video. Over in India, we did have a loss. What is this frame rate? Anyway, yeah, we did have a loss. We gained Mysore a couple of weeks ago, and then we've lost Arcot in the last week, which is kind of unfortunate. We did a pretty good job of holding it, but then an army turned up, and well, that was the end of it. They had twice as many men as us. We did a good job. I think we killed, most of them. I think they had 2,000 men. They only had about 600 left by the time we had finished fighting our pretty much inevitable death battle with them. But I'm hoping that they don't reinforce too much and we can take it back soonish. We're also building an army in Trycomeli. It should hopefully be done in the next 2 or 3 turns, and then we can maybe look at going up to Cuttack or Calcutta and trying to take one of those, just to kind of do a bit more of a pincer movement on these guys, so that they can't just focus their entire army, bring all of their army down into here and focus on us here. They have to send some this direction as well, and they can't just leave this completely undefended, because we'll just send people this direction and take it from them. So yeah, it just kind of spreads their forces a bit thinner, and hopefully they don't have an easy... Alright, brilliant. What's this? Just decides that you're going... Did it crash? Still running. Not sure what the deal is there. But yeah, hopefully the Marathas, it just kind of spreads them a bit thinly, and they can't defend their territory or attack us as easily as they are at the moment. And America, I think last week I noticed these guys who came from over here. There was another army I'm sure as well. I thought there was a bigger army in that, but anyway, they've kind of ventured into our territory, so we're probably going to have to go and deal with them. Get rid of them, kick them out. I might just go and try and take this anyway. I want to go and take Fort de Chartres, but at the same time I just want to get rid of these guys because they're kind of annoying me, and I don't think they're going to be that difficult to beat, given that their army's pretty much made up of just archers. So I think gun beats bow and arrow, probably. I'm pretty sure cannon beats bow and arrow, so we might try and get some cannons here while we're at it as well, just to make sure that we've got all bases covered. And yeah, I think we'll now progress. I have to end turn because I've got absolutely no money left now that I've bought those cannons, and hopefully we don't get attacked in Paris, and we can continue in the next turn trying to look at taking the rest of France. And they're back. Right. Well, I think this is still a too close a battle to call. It is showing us as slightly more in a better position, but at the same time, I don't want to risk it. So I think I'll fight this ourselves. Well, myself. And I'm hoping there's not a hole in the wall. But if there is a hole in the wall, we'll just do exactly what we did last time and reinforce the bejesus out of it. Although they don't have cavalry, so it's not as big an issue. I think I might put some possibly different reinforcements in if they don't have cavalry, but we'll see. Alright, so do we have a hole in the wall? We do still have a hole in the wall, unfortunately, so we're going to have to try and deal with that. The French are, by the looks of things, going to spawn over this way, but they may spawn over here, so I'm going to reinforce it nevertheless, just to make sure that we, they can't even reinforce, just to make sure that we have a good chance here of holding on. Right, well that is extremely unfortunate. Apparently none of our units are capable of putting out reinforcements for some reason. I'm not sure why they can't do it, but it's not letting me do it. So, we're just going to have to make the most of what we've got and see if we can hold it off, hold on to what we've got. Well, I'll try that again, given that was awful English. Yeah, we'll try and hopefully hold on to Paris the good old-fashioned way of just shooting them with cannons, and given that this has been breached as well, they could just walk through here, so I don't think reinforcing this would have made any difference, to be honest. So hopefully they come this direction and we can possibly position some units up on here just to shoot cannons that way as well. Right, let's start this. So they are coming from that direction, which gives us a good amount of time to line our troops up on this wall, if the game would allow me to do it, which should let us shoot anybody who tries to make it to the breach. See if they can chuck grenades off the wall without killing themselves, and they have managed. Impressively. Well, they're trying to get up the walls. Oh no, they might catch a gate here actually. This could be dangerous. Not paying enough attention, they've managed to get themselves up onto the wall. And onto the gate, which could go horribly wrong. Anybody going? Oh, there's French going around this way as well. Right, we've lost a gate. This has gone bad. We've managed to lose a gate, and yeah, now the French can get their cavalry inside, although, then again, there's a big gaping hole in the wall, so I'm not sure having a gate is that big an advantage in this fight, and their cavalry don't seem to be all that bothered about it anyway. Right, some of the French have cleared off, they've had enough already. We could, right, no, don't go and sword them, shoot them, it's a better idea. Right, we've now got 2 units of French over there, which is not very good. So if we could send some reinforcements over. Their cavalry's running away as well. Right, I'm going to send my cavalry out to take out their cannons. Send them over there first, and we shall go and take their cannons out. Because I'm not too happy about the fact that they're just randomly shooting my wall. Given that we've already sustained enough damage to our walls over the last few battles, I don't want another gaping hole in it. Our cavalry is just charging straight through these guys now. And it's actually made them run away. Like a few horses have come running out. I wasn't even intending on having them charge them, but the route they decided to take to leave the fort took them straight through them, and now they've decided that that's enough and they're going to run away. Right, so if that's the case, then these guys can get over here and help out. Try and get these guys to run away as well. Right. Put them in diamond formation for no apparent reason, and charge. One of their horses has somehow died. I don't know if we hit them with a cannon, but they're about to get hit with... Oh my god, that horse just face planted. But it's, yeah, properly messed up their cannons. Right, and how's it going over here? So our guys are thinking of running away. Oh, we've won. Well, that's the end of that, and that's us defended from the French rebels, which I think was our biggest challenge, really. French rebels were probably the biggest army in the territory of France that could have come back and fought us. So I think we did an alright job. We killed 900 odd of them, and only lost 354 men, so that's alright. And they've cleared off. Right, so we made it through that turn, and interestingly enough, the Ottomans no longer took an absolute age to get through their turn. So hopefully taking Istanbul may have fixed the Ottoman issue, which, if it has, I'm very happy. We're still going to take them on and try and get Arcot anyway. But it's quite nice to be able to actually end turn and it not take an eternity to get to the next turn. So we've now seen off these French rebels. There are still French in France, so I don't really want to leave Paris undefended. And given that we don't have all that many units left in France, in Paris, since the like 3 assaults that we've had to sustain on Paris itself, we've lost quite a lot of men. So we're going to just have to try and reinforce a bit. Given that we have quite a large army in Amsterdam itself, and the Austrians are actually our allies, how long that will last, I don't know. I think a battle of Brussels may be on the cards here. Because if we take Brussels, I noticed the Austrians have taken Strasbourg. And the French, if we take Brussels, the French are now then just left with Turin and Bastia. And that is it. That's all they have in Europe. They still have a few places in northern South America. So they have French Guyana and Dutch Guyana. They also have Trinidad and Tobago and the Windward Islands. So these are pretty much the only places they have left. We will try and take Fort de Chartres at some point, but the French are looking pretty delicate at the moment. I think if we take enough of it, they may collapse. I don't know if they have the money to support their own navy, which is probably the biggest issue they'll have, is supporting the naval power they have with the amount of money that they're going to have left. Because we've taken probably a lot of their financial clout out of the game. Because I'm not sure these places are going to make that much money. They'll make some, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to support the size of navy that the French have. So it may be that taking a couple more places of the French could end them. So we'll try and attack Brussels and see what it looks like. So it's shown us as having the better chance here. They do have a lot of people. They actually have more men than us, but a lot of it's just militia. They only have, I think, like cavalry, 1 unit of cavalry and some artillery, and I think these pikemen. I think that's pretty much it. I think everyone else is just armed militia. So I think we'll auto-resolve it. Hopefully we win, and we did. We only lost 500 men, well, almost 600, and we have completely annihilated Mathieu Vasseur, and his French units are gone. Brussels is now ours. And that has probably put an end to the French. I'm not sure. Turin is now their capital. And I mean, look at the size of it. It has walls, but not very great ones, not very good ones. It's probably about the same size as Milan. If we built... not Milan. Milan. If we'd built walls around Milan, it'd probably be roughly the same size. It's only got like a royal palace. It looks like it's the same, is it? Yeah, a royal palace and some walls. That is it. That's all they've got. So, yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be able to afford to keep waging this war after a couple more turns, because they've lost everything. The Austrians are going to be an issue eventually. They still have bits of Prussia still exist, so they might try and take that. And there's random places like Hanover, Bavaria, Württemberg, and that's pretty much it. Because once they've dealt with that, it's then like Italy and Venice, and then it's us. And on this side is just the Russians, and down here it was the Ottomans, but it's now us as well down here. So there is still some Ottoman stuff, but not a lot of it. So we might get attacked. Because the Austrians don't have anywhere to go now. They've expanded to this point, and they're now pinned in with us being on this side and down south, and even north of them up here, and the Russians over here. So hopefully they take on the Russians and not us. Because I don't fancy having to fight them yet. It will happen probably eventually. It's inevitable, I think, at this stage, that we're going to have to fight them at some point. But I would quite like to fight them when I don't have any other battles going on, and currently fighting the Ottomans and the Marathas in India as well. It's yeah, it's a bit of a delicate situation, to say the least. So I think we need to reinforce this army, and I think probably recruit some more men just to secure Mysore, and I'm trying to hold on to it. I'm not going to try and take Arcot anytime soon. I think they've probably reinforced themselves. They're not looking too strong, but I don't, at the same time, don't really want to leave Mysore undefended because we've got enemies up here heading down. Our army is starting to build here. We've still probably got another couple turns before we're capable of heading up this direction, but it will happen. And I think what I'll do is I'll now start looking. I don't think this is going to be an issue, so I'm going to leave New Orleans undefended because I don't think anybody's going to come for New Orleans. Right, I'll resolve that. They killed more of us than we killed of them, and they're still alive. Well, that wasn't on the books. This may be harder to take than I first anticipated, given that these guys were not that, like, yeah, they weren't that great units, and they managed to kill more of us than we killed of them. It may have been a fluke, but I'm kind of worried now that they actually, these skirmishers are actually really difficult to kill for some reason. So we'll yeah, we might have to be a bit careful taking them on. So I think what we might do is just start building up some units here, just to be sure that anything we take that direction is going to win the battle. But as for now, I think there's not much we can do in the Caribbean. We're being raided by a French fleet, which again, there's not much we can do about that given the size of it. I think the best option we have when it comes to French fleets is to take out France, and once we do that, then we don't have to worry about their navy anymore. No ships whatsoever. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to build an army in Morocco and start heading up the coast and taking on the Barbary Straits, because we're now technically at war with them. So it's probably in our best interest to try and get rid of them, given that they're an enemy. So if we just build up some units in Morocco in a turn or so, we'll head along, try and take Algeria. I'm kind of lost at the moment. I'm not sure what to do. So we'll end turn, and we'll see what everyone else does. United States wants fire in advance. I don't think so. You can clear up. And here they come again. Right, well, we'll auto-resolve this. Fingers crossed. Right, good, we won. Thank God for that. So we killed quite a lot of them. They've only got 116 men left, but they're still alive. And now these guys are coming. Are you going to make it all the way? I don't think they will. No. They would have probably been better off just waiting and trying to attack us all at one go, as we're now being besieged in Mysore as well. So we're going to have to fight our way out of there again. Well, actually, we haven't fought our way out of Mysore, but we've... it's just a constant, like, I take somewhere and then they just besiege us and we have to, like, see them off constantly for the next, like, 5 turns until eventually they have nobody left and we can then try and push out. It's getting a bit frustrating, this whole India situation. Oh, great, they're back. Right, well, we've lost that. Cheerio. I completely forgot I even had a ship over there. It's not even like a proper, like, actual ship. It's a trading, like, merchant ship, so it's basically useless in battle anyway. So now that we've taken this, we're going to just take half of our army and put it back in Amsterdam, just to keep public order down, and probably start recruiting a few more men. Continue taking... I might just attack these guys. Get rid of them. That was the most, like, off-the-cuff thing I've done in this game. I just saw them, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to attack them. And it worked out extremely well in the end, because they had absolute no people whatsoever. So I think now it's just a case of repairing France, because it has been absolutely done in by this war that's gone on for the last, like, 2 or 3 years with us and the French. So everywhere has been raided by, well, mainly the French, to be honest, raiding their own places. We haven't done much in the way of raiding but everything is broken. So we'll start repairing all of that. And yeah, I still don't know what to do. These guys have come back. What are you doing? There's only like 30 of you, 37. Right, dead. Good. Bloody enough of that guy. Right. So what I might do is just send one of these guys all the way up here to have a wee look at what's going on in Fort de Chartres, so we can see how many men they've got in the stationed in the library, and we can then make an educated decision as to whether we want to take these guys out or take these guys out. The one issue with taking Fort de Chartres is we're then on the border with the Canadians, and that's not that great because we're at war with them, so we will probably end up having to try and attack them. Right, what we'll do is we shall... Right, this is still replenishing. Right, what we'll do is we'll end turn, and then we'll look at taking over Arcot. Alright, who are you? Oh, we've got some Bulgarian rebels have just appeared. Right, sorry, Slav rebels. I'm not sure. Is it worth fighting over? Right, we'll fight it ourselves. We'll take on these Slavs, and hopefully we manage to win. I don't think losing Bulgaria is that big an issue, but at the same time, if we lose it, then it gives, yeah, it opens the door for somebody like the Austrians or the Ottomans to just walk in and try and take it. So I think if we can hold on to it, then it's probably in our best interest. Right, so do we have a town? We do have a town, good, right, so why are we all, like, spredaddled halfway up a hill? What is this all about? This is quite the battlefield. I mean, look at this. Absolute mountain. And they're spawning, of course they're spawning on top of the mountain, giving them vertical advantage over us, which is not great. So I think we'll just back ourselves up over here and try and take the town, hold on to the town, because I think holding on, or trying to hold on to the town using buildings is probably our best option, because we can take over this building and this building. Probably going to give us a pretty good advantage over the enemy. The only one thing is our cavalry is not going to be, well, it's not going to fit inside a building, so we're going to have to take them over here. But look at them! Spawned on top of the mountain, on top of Mount bloody Kilimanjaro over here. Absolutely massive, right. So, if we just send some of our men inside these houses, looks like we've only got 2 buildings that we can actually put our men inside, which is quite unfortunate, really. But it does give us a position to try and reinforce, so we'll stick our men along here as well. Look at these guys lording it up on top of the mountain, looking down on us. Look at this view that they've got of us just moving around in the background. It's quite the... If you had cannons, you've somehow managed to position them up here. If you'd managed to pull a cannon up this mountain, that would be quite impressive. But if you could position them up here, the oversight you have of that town is absolutely outrageous. You completely bombard it. Anyway, we have secured our buildings in the middle of the town, so we can... Right, so obviously this building isn't big enough to hold an entire regiment of units, so we've got a random group of men who... The unfortunate ones who pulled the short straw are standing on the outside of the building. The enemy have pikemen, which could be an issue for our cavalry. I'm not sure what they're doing. They don't seem that bothered about coming down into the village, into the town to try and attack us. I think they probably realise that they've got an advantage by being on this hill and us attacking them there. But I mean, they're attacking us, so we should probably be given the option of where we want to put our men. Right, they've started to, I think they've realised that we're not coming to them and that they're going to have to come into the village, or town, or whatever this is, and attack us head on. So hopefully that is in our advantage, given that we have the town hall and the, what is this place? The farmhouse. Somehow there's a farmhouse in the middle of the town, which is kind of interesting. I've not really ever seen that before, but we'll accept it for what it is. And we'll move our cavalry away from the pikemen, because I think I saw what they were trying to do and get their pikemen to come to our cavalry. So we'll just send our cavalry around here. Can always look at trying to send them in from behind. We'll just move up here and take our positions up on the hill that they had. So what we'll do is we'll get one of our cavalry regiments and we shall just charge these guys. Because they have their back to us, so probably a pretty decent idea. They're trying some sort of weird formation where they're lining up the wrong direction, like 90 degrees to us, and shooting us sideways for some reason. Not sure what their logic is on that one, but we'll see what happens with them. These guys are starting to get absolutely done in by the pikemen, so hopefully they can hold off for a bit. Right, they've started to realise that the cavalry is charging them. Look at this. Oh wow, they just got completely flung. Oh, we've killed the enemy general. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that surname, but we've managed to kill him, so hopefully these guys start to think about possibly running away. Right, okay, so they're shooting our general, which is not nice. So these guys have made a bit of a mistake by chasing our horsemen, who are now about to charge straight through them. They're not even ready for it. There we go. Absolutely munched. Look at how far this guy got flung. And now they're running away. Because they realised that they made an absolutely terrible mistake chasing our cavalry up a hill. And now these guys are about to feel the full force of my cavalry. Charging straight at them. Alright, we took quite heavy hits there, but nevertheless, charged straight through. Flung an absolute mile. Oh my good god! That was a solid, like, 20 meters those guys flew. And they're off. They've run away. They've had enough. Right, gents, what has happened to him? He's had a very, very bad day at the office. Well, I think this is pretty one-sided. I mean, going by the number of men we have on our side of the battle and the number of men on their side of the battle, I don't think it's very long before they eventually all just fall over dead. And just on cue, our cavalry is about to completely annihilate what is standing, still fighting. And they run away because they realise that they've been entirely surrounded, so yeah. And that's the end, right? And that'll teach them not to battle us again, bloody Slavs coming after us. They can clear off. And we hold on to Bulgaria. As I said though, it's not really a biggest loss if we were to lose Bulgaria, but it does then open it up to the possibility the Austrians could go and then take it, which would be a bit of an issue. We did lose 300 odd men, but we pretty much completely annihilated the Slav rebels, and they've now gone. So we don't have to put up with them anymore. And when did you become back to war with us, you cheeky bastards? That's unacceptable. Right, well, I'll resolve that and win. Pretty close battle, actually. Only 4 deaths in it, but we somehow managed to win, and they've cleared off. Are they rebels? Possibly. They might be rebels, actually, rather than a Spanish, like a proper Swedish army. So that would explain it. Because I don't remember them ever saying that Sweden have gone back to war with us. So right, I've got rebellions all over the place. So we've got some Rumelian rebels as well here, turned up, these Turkish rebels, and yeah, we have to deal with that as well now. This is just brilliant. As soon as we start making some decent gains around the place, suddenly a bunch of rebels turn up and just completely slow it right down again. Replenish all these guys. We'll recruit a general, just because why not? What's his name? Marcus Dinwiddle. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant name. Somebody you can really follow into battle, knowing that he's going to come out head first in all situations. So, yeah, we'll try and make sure we get rid of these Swedish rebels. Oh, for goodness sake, frame rate. Try to take on Ankara, but I think that may have to wait until next week, because we've been significantly slowed down by this Slav rebel army that tried to take Bulgaria back from us. Actually, thinking about it, I should probably replenish our men in Bulgaria whilst we're at it, and we'll just get ourselves another unit of militia just to help in case somebody else decides to come along and try and take over Bulgaria, which I'm not that interested in. As I expected, Bosnia did fall to the Austrians, so the Ottomans couldn't hold on to that any longer, and it's just another time, like just one step closer until the Austrians decide to ultimately attack us. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Probably sooner rather than later, but I don't want it to happen. I really don't want it to happen. These Austrians are getting a bit too close for comfort. There is a bit of a gap. Like they got all the way up to here into Germany, and then they gained like alliances with Hanover. I'm not sure if they're allied with Württemberg or not, but they've kind of just skipped them out and gone straight for Strasbourg and Cologne, which was French territory. But the French in this episode have pretty much been wiped out for the most part. They had 2 weeks ago. They had Paris, Brussels, Amsterdam, Cologne, Strasbourg. They even had Dresden at one stage, which is, I think, why the Austrians then went to war with them, because they took Dresden. So, yeah, that was probably the start of their downfall, because when they took Dresden, the Austrians then took it back, or took like Dresden from the French, because suddenly the French were the next target in line for the Austrian march through Europe. And yeah, the Austrians declared war on them, took Dresden back, or for the first time, and then continued marching. And at the same time, I noticed that the Austrians were now at war with France, and I decided that it was probably a good time for us to get into the war, which is when we then took Amsterdam. A week later, we then take Paris. Last week we held on to Paris, and this week we've taken Brussels, and the French have lost Cologne and Strasbourg to the Ottomans. Not the Ottomans, the Austrians, I was right first time. And now all they're left is with Turin and Bastia as the only places they have in the entirety of Europe. So yeah, the French have suddenly become a South American colony. They only have this and one random place halfway up the United States. So we'll wander up here. I just wanted to have a wee quick look. See, oh my god. Right, well that's that taken. Took absolutely no effort whatsoever. One unit. I just marched one unit up there, not even intending to take it, just to have a look to see what there was, and suddenly realise that they've only got a couple of units of town guard, and that is it. So we've now taken Upper Louisiana. So Fort de Chartres and New Orleans, both ours, and it does now raise the question what will happen with the Quebecians, as they are currently in our territory and are at war with us, so they may decide to come and try and take Fort de Chartres, which I'm not that bothered about. It's not the greatest loss in the world, but I would quite like to keep it, given that I spent an entire 30 milliseconds contemplating whether I should attack it or not. And yeah, we now don't have to really worry about the French coming down this way, given that, well, the French weren't even not really existent in this area. And we can now look at trying to take over try and take over Texas as well. I'm still worrying that somehow that this army, if I could ever click on it, this army is not capable of taking on, like, whatever these guys are, these skirmishers, because after fighting that tiny army that was up here for some reason, it really put a seed of doubt in my mind as to whether they're actually going to be as pushover as I first thought they might be. These guys, like, I don't know, like, I think there's a mistake a lot of, like, that actually happened in reality. That the Americans went to try and take on the Native Americans and actually got done in quite a bit, just because these Native Americans, they had no fear. They would just charge you, and they just absolutely annihilated the Americans in quite a few situations, given that the Americans, even though they had more men, just couldn't deal with the fact that these guys were just all heart and just went charging straight into battle. A bit like the Scottish, really. A bit like the Scottish. But anyway, that's probably going to be enough for this week. We've done a fair, decent job of holding on to what we've got. We took over Fort de Chartres in an absolutely grueling battle that really just kind of happened. We also managed to take over, if I could click on the arrow, take over Brussels, which again was a bit of an impulsive battle. I didn't really come into this video planning to take Brussels. I hoped it might happen, but I didn't expect to just walk in and take it. It was quite an easy battle in the end. The French didn't put up much of a fight. We defended Paris from these guys who are still wandering around France, which somehow they've managed to pick up a puckle gun. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I kind of want a puckle gun. I'm not sure how to get them, but I want one. Somehow these French rebels have managed to acquire one somehow. Actually, they managed to acquire several puckle guns, and we got rid of these French as well who tried to attack Paris. And now Paris is actually fully rebuilt. I'm hoping the wall is now fixed and that we still don't have a hole in the wall. But again, I have no idea. I don't think the wall should have had a hole in the first place. But hopefully that has been fixed. And yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. We defended Bulgaria. And actually, we do have a slight issue going on in India, where we are actually being besieged by these. Oh my word! Right, well that'll be next week. Next week we shall battle Alikesh Sayanakar. Yep, that sounds about right. We shall battle him. Right, it won't let me continue my siege. Why can't I? I've got 3 turns until I surrender. I don't want to fight him. I just wanted to see what the deal was. Alright, anyway, that'll be next week's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe as well. If you're new around here and want to watch more of my stuff, then you can find the big red subscribe button down below. And I'll catch you guys next week. So until then, cheerio.